Get ready for action because we are diving straight into the baseball showdown. We start with the Orioles and the Rays series preview where we look at the incredible matchup between Cedric Mullins and the Rays. We break down how this series could play out, looking at the pitching matchups, the offensive stats, and the big names like Nick Martinez and Shane McClanahan. You won't want to miss this deep dive into the tension between these two powerhouse teams. Takes for this team to turn the page. Finally, we look at the big picture with 4 MLB rosters that justify their current league winner betting odds. We examine the dominance of the Dodgers, the offensive pressure of the Yankees, the shifting momentum of the Cubs, and the elite pitching consistency of the Mariners. Tune in now to see which teams are truly built for a championship run in 2026. The Orioles and the Rays are set to clash in a highly anticipated series, pitting a 30-15 team against a 21-26 squad. Preseason predictions suggested a tight 4-team race in the American League East, with the Rays widely projected as the division's near-consensus last-place club. However, Tampa Bay has blown past expectations, posting a .667 winning percentage and the American League's best record, showcasing a scrappy, selfless team that has dominated at home, achieving a league-best 16-5 record and winning 11 consecutive games at Tropicana Field. The Rays' success is heavily anchored by an elite pitching staff. Their starting rotation boasts an exceptional 2.93 ERA, largely thanks to acquiring journeyman pitcher Nick Martinez, who has transformed into a top performer with a 1.51 ERA over 9 starts. This mirrors a pattern where the Rays consistently find pitching bargains. The bullpen is bolstered by former Oriole Brian Baker, who has emerged as the team's closer with 11 saves, the second most in the American League. Offensively, the Rays present a distinct profile compared to the Orioles. While they hit fewer home runs, they lead the AL in batting average at .258 and second in on-base percentage at .330. Crucially, they manage significantly fewer strikeouts than the Orioles. The team excels at putting the ball in play and stealing bases, evidenced by 50 steals. The lineup features a potent trio of Junior Caminero, Jonathan Aranda, and Yandy Diaz, who have combined for 25 home runs, with Aranda leading the AL in RBIs. However, the Rays' offense faces an obstacle in the form of Cedric Mullins, who, despite a $7 million contract with Tampa Bay, has posted the second-worst ops, .524 among qualified AL hitters. On the mound for the Orioles, the situation is complex. LHP Trevor Rogers has regressed significantly, posting a 10.57 ERA in his last 4 outings, while LHP Shane McClanahan is in stellar form, carrying a 21.2-inning scoreless streak. The battle of southpaws heavily favors the Rays. For the Orioles, RHP Kyle Bradish shows flashes of his former dominance, but he faces challenges, including a nemesis in Yandy Diaz. RHP Griffin Jax has transitioned to the rotation, showing promise but struggling with baser runners. In a matchup of contrasting styles, RHP Shane Baz is set to pitch against the Orioles for the first time, a matchup where the Orioles are banking on unlocking potential, though Baz is currently experiencing his worst season yet. The series promises intense pitching matchups and a battle between the Rays' exceptional team cohesion and the Orioles' resilience. The Toronto Blue Jays are navigating a challenging transition following the departure of key offensive talent, with recent news highlighting struggles for both the team and a former star. As the Blue Jays aim to regain momentum heading into a showdown with the New York Yankees, the team faces the adjustment of a new infielder, Kazuma Okamoto, replacing Bo Bichette. Mike Wilner of the Toronto Star noted the cultural hurdles Okamoto has faced, citing the need for players to manage personal aspects while pursuing major league careers. Okamoto has emerged as the team's home run leader this season, but his performance has not yet matched Bichette's peak output. Okamoto's current statistics are, compared to Bichette's previous line of .311357483. Meanwhile, Bichette, who is now with the New York Mets, has acknowledged a significant slump in his performance since leaving Toronto, describing it as potentially the toughest stretch of his career. Bichette attributed his struggles to various factors, including the pressure of his new contract and adjustments to playing positions, such as switching between third base and shortstop. The Mets are looking to see Bichette return to his previous form, while Blue Jays fans remain hopeful that their new infield star will improve upon his predecessor's performance. The Los Angeles Angels are entering a crucial four-game series against the Athletics, aiming to shift momentum after a disappointing weekend. Following a 30-1-3 loss and being swept in 3 games, the Angels begin a new homestand on Monday in Anaheim, California. Rookie Walbert Urena will make his debut against the A's, facing right-hander JT Ginn, who has a 1-1 record and a 5 ERA in 2 starts against Los Angeles. Offensively, the Angels have struggled significantly. Since a promising 11-10 start to the season, the team has scored 2 runs or fewer in 17 of their last 26 games, including all 6 of their previous games, which have all been losses. Despite the struggles, first-year manager Kurt Suzuki remains optimistic about the team's core lineup, which features 3-time American League MVP Mike Trout, 2019 AL home run leader Jorge Soler, and hard-hitting shortstop Zach Neto. Suzuki acknowledged the difficulty but expressed confidence, stating, "You continue to do your work, and there's going to be one thing that's going to click." The Athletics, currently sitting at 23-23 with a negative 13-run differential, hold a 1-game lead over the Texas Rangers in the AL West. The A's committed 5 errors in back-to-back losses to the Giants, contributing to their recent struggles. Athletics manager Mark Kotsay emphasized the need for improvement, stating, "We've got to get back to work. We need to play good, clean baseball, and the results will take care of themselves." In other news, Angels first baseman Nick Kurtz extended his on-base streak to 40 games after walking 3 times in Sunday's 10-1 loss. The Angels have historically performed well against the Athletics, having won 9 of their 13 meetings last season. Early evidence from the 2026 MLB season suggests 4 teams possess the depth, structure, and performance required to remain in the championship conversation throughout 2026. This assessment highlights a growing divide between teams focused on postseason positioning and those demonstrating sustained, championship-level consistency. The Los Angeles Dodgers continue to lead this conversation. Despite the pressure of a talent-laden roster, they have shown remarkable consistency in both offense and pitching. Their plus 59 run differential stands out as a key indicator of dominance, supported by lineup flexibility and deep roster depth that allows them to withstand injuries and adjustments. This combination of dominant run differential, lineup versatility, and pitching stability solidifies their standing as a premier contender. The New York Yankees have established themselves as the early benchmark in the American League. Their success is driven by an offensive structure that generates constant pressure on opposing staffs, ranking among the league leaders in home runs, slugging percentage, and extra base hits. This sustained offensive depth, coupled with a stable pitching staff, allows them to control game tempo effectively. The Chicago Cubs have significantly shifted the narrative in the National League Central. Their recent 5-game winning streak has shown that their momentum is rooted in balanced roster construction, not just isolated scoring bursts. This balanced approach, combining strong offense with steady pitching, suggests a capability to sustain meaningful momentum over a long season, repositioning them as a legitimate contender. Finally, the Seattle Mariners present a compelling case for long-term relevance in the American League through elite pitching consistency. The Mariners have built a competitive formula centered on run prevention and game control. Their pitching staff's ability to suppress offensive momentum, even against top lineups, demonstrates a sustainable structure that is increasingly justifying their recognition as a credible threat in the AL.